Tell me do something for God and country and go back to work.
That's a good one right there.
I'm gonna kick you.
The shocking news hit the internet like a storm.
Fans of the reality TV series Pawn Stars were left stunned when rumors began to swirl that Richard Kevin Harrison, better known to viewers as Rick Harrison, had been sentenced to life in prison. Renowned for his no-nonsense business approach and deep knowledge of historical artifacts, Rick suddenly found himself at the center of serious legal allegations, an unexpected development that few could have foreseen. For years, Pawn Stars fascinated audiences by pulling back the curtain on the unique and often surprising world of pawn dealing. The show offered a compelling mix of rare artifacts, high-stakes negotiations, and the everyday challenges of running a family-owned pawn shop in Las Vegas. Rick, the face of the business, played a central role in the show's success, earning a reputation for his sharp wit and encyclopedic knowledge. However, his once thriving television career has now taken a dark and unforeseen turn. The question that remains is, what could have possibly led to such a severe and life-altering outcome? Richard Kevin Harrison was born on March 22, 1965, in Lexington, North Carolina. At the age of 2, his family relocated to San Diego, California, where he spent much of his childhood. Diagnosed with epilepsy at just 8 years old, Rick faced significant challenges growing up. The condition often kept him out of school, but during his time at home, he developed a profound love for reading. This passion fueled his growing interest in history, which would later become a cornerstone of his career. Despite his intellectual curiosity and love of learning, Rick's health struggles took a toll on his formal education. His frequent absences eventually led him to drop out of high school during his sophomore year. Nevertheless, these early challenges did not hinder his drive or determination. Instead, they helped shape the resourceful and knowledgeable businessman that fans would come to admire on television. Rather than letting obstacles derail his ambitions, Rick Harrison took a different path. He pursued self-education. He immersed himself in books on a wide range of subjects, with a particular focus on history and business. This self-taught approach would later become one of his defining traits, clearly evident in the extensive knowledge he showcased on Pawn Stars. As a teenager, Rick began working alongside his father in various entrepreneurial ventures. These early experiences helped him develop a keen eye for value, authenticity, and negotiation, skills that would prove essential in his future career. At just 17 years old, Rick's life took another major turn when he and his then-girlfriend Kim discovered they were expecting a child. The couple married soon after and went on to have 2 sons, Corey and Adam. However, their relationship eventually came to an end after 8 years. In 1981, Rick's family relocated to Las Vegas, Nevada. There, his father, Richard Benjamin Harrison, affectionately known as the Old Man, opened the gold and silver coin shop. Over time, the business evolved. By 1989, the shop had transitioned into the now famous gold and silver pawn shop, which would later become the central setting for the hit reality series Pawn Stars. The switch from dealing solely in coins to a broader pawn operation was a strategic decision, driven by the Harrison family's understanding of the higher profit potential in the pawn industry. In the early days of the shop, Rick and his father worked relentlessly to establish a name for themselves in the competitive Las Vegas market. Rick frequently dealt with difficult customers and occasionally found himself in risky situations, all of which helped sharpen his negotiation tactics and business instincts. By the early 2000s, Rick had earned a solid reputation for his expertise in collectibles and historical items. The pawn shop itself became a notable destination, attracting both locals and tourists eager to find rare and valuable treasures. Recognizing the entertainment potential within his business, Rick Harrison began exploring the idea of turning the daily operations of the pawn shop into a reality TV show. Despite facing years of rejection and multiple setbacks, Rick remained persistent in pitching his concept. His determination eventually paid off in 2009 when he secured a deal with the History Channel. That same year, Pawn Stars premiered, offering audiences a behind-the-scenes glimpse into the workings of the gold and silver pawn shop. The show featured Rick, his son Corey Big Host Harrison, his father Richard the Old Man Harrison, and their close friend Austin Chum Lee Russell. Together, the team examined, bought, and sold a wide array of items, many with historical significance and varying levels of value. Pawn Stars quickly became a breakout hit, catapulting Rick from a respected local businessman to a household name in American television. Rick's direct, no-nonsense communication style, memorable catchphrases, and vast knowledge of historical artifacts made him a standout figure among the cast. His iconic negotiating line, "The best I can do is," became a fan favorite and a recognizable staple of the series. However, what truly set Pawn Stars apart from other reality shows was Rick's commitment to education. Each episode not only showcased interesting items but also provided historical insights, with Rick often offering in-depth background on the artifacts brought into the shop. His passion for history and skill in storytelling resonated with viewers of all ages, helping Pawn Stars become one of the most successful programs in History Channel's lineup. Under Rick's leadership, the pawn shop itself transformed into a Las Vegas landmark, drawing fans and tourists from around the globe, many of whom visited in hopes of catching a glimpse of the cast or even appearing on the show themselves. As Pawn Stars gained popularity, Rick Harrison's business flourished. Merchandise sales soared, and he capitalized on his newfound fame through various ventures, including book deals, public speaking engagements, and even opening his own restaurant. The success of the show catapulted Rick to celebrity status, earning him guest appearances on talk shows, features in major magazines, and invitations to speak at business and entrepreneurial events. His journey from modest beginnings to national recognition resonated with audiences, and his no-nonsense approach to business earned him respect well beyond the realm of television. As the central figure of Pawn Stars, Rick was admired for his sharp business acumen and practical mindset. He often played the role of the steady hand in the shop, stepping in to temper his son Corey's ambitious purchases or to rein in Chumley's unpredictable behavior. His strong partnership with his father, the old man, was built on years of working side by side, and their mutual respect was a defining feature of the show. After his father's passing in 2018, Rick remained devoted to honoring his legacy, ensuring the pawn shop continued to operate with the same principles and integrity they had built together. While Rick's professional life soared, his personal life saw its share of changes. His first marriage ended in divorce, and he later married Tracy Harrison, with whom he spent 27 years before their separation in 2011. In 2013, Rick married Deanna Burdett in a ceremony officiated by Counting Cars star Danny Coker, with Chumley serving as the ring bearer. Though Rick generally kept his private life out of the spotlight, occasional references on the show highlighted his deep commitment to family, even amid the demands of fame and business. Beyond the pawn shop, Rick continued to grow his entrepreneurial footprint. His ventures reflected his passion for business and his ability to spot opportunity, traits that had guided him throughout his career. Expanding his business footprint, Rick Harrison launched Rick's Rolling Smoke Barbecue and Tavern at Pawn Plaza, located right next to the iconic gold and silver pawn shop. The venture added a new dimension to his growing brand, blending his love for food with his business acumen. In 2011, he also co-authored the book License to Pawn, Deals, Steals, and My Life at the Gold and Silver, which offered readers a closer look at his experiences in the pawn industry and the principles that guided his success. Rick never stopped looking for new opportunities. His entrepreneurial drive and sharp instincts allowed him to continually grow his brand and expand his influence. On Pawn Stars, he consistently demonstrated a remarkable ability to recognize value where others might not. From vintage cars and historical documents to ancient artifacts and quirky modern collectibles, Rick assessed an incredible variety of items. Though highly knowledgeable in areas such as firearms, watches, and American history, he wasn't afraid to call in specialists when necessary, an approach that reflected both humility and smart business sense. Throughout the years, Rick made countless deals, some incredibly lucrative and others less so. Among his most notable purchases was a 2001 New England Patriots Super Bowl ring, which he bought for $2,600 but believed to be worth significantly more. Another standout acquisition included a rare collection of Spanish gold doubloons recovered from a 1715 shipwreck, an item that perfectly blended his love for history with his appreciation for precious metals. Despite his many successes, Rick's life has not been without its challenges. In 2023, he faced serious legal trouble when federal agents raided his Las Vegas home as part of an investigation that had been quietly unfolding for several months. Initially, details surrounding the case were kept from the public, fueling speculation and uncertainty. the sudden raid on Rick Harrison's home and business sent shockwaves through both his fan base and those closest to him, sparking widespread speculation online. The unexpected nature of the operation left many stunned. During the coordinated effort, FBI agents, accompanied by investigators from the Internal Revenue Service (IRS) and representatives from the Department of Cultural Heritage Protection, executed search warrants at Rick's Las Vegas residence as well as the gold and silver pawn shop. Employees and customers present at the shop during the raid were temporarily detained as authorities seized computers, documents, and various inventory items for investigation. Rick's son, Corey, who was at the shop at the time, later described the incident as surreal, likening it to a scene straight out of a movie. Eyewitnesses reported that Rick remained calm and composed while being escorted from his home by agents, despite nearby neighbors recording the event on their phones. The footage quickly went viral across social media platforms, fueling intense public interest and speculation. As more details emerged, it became clear that the investigation centered around serious allegations. Authorities were reportedly examining a complex tax evasion scheme and possible money laundering activities tied to high-value items that had passed through the pawn shop. In addition, Rick was facing accusations of dealing in illegally obtained artifacts, some of which may have violated cultural heritage laws. The case reportedly stemmed from red-flagged financial transactions noted by banking institutions, as well as formal complaints filed by former business associates. In the wake of the raid, the History Channel announced a suspension of Pawn Stars production, stating they were closely monitoring the situation and would determine the show's future as more information became available. Although the gold and silver pawn shop remained open to the public, it experienced a noticeable decline in foot traffic as Rick's legal troubles began to take center stage. Initially, Rick Harrison's representatives vehemently denied any wrongdoing, asserting that the investigation was a simple misunderstanding that would soon be cleared up. His attorney, David Marshall, a renowned Las Vegas lawyer known for handling high-profile clients, reassured the public that Rick had always operated his business with integrity and in full compliance with the law. However, as the investigation unfolded, troubling new details began to emerge. Authorities claimed they had uncovered evidence suggesting that Rick had been involved in a sophisticated scheme to intentionally undervalue historical artifacts for tax purposes, while privately selling them at their true market value. Additionally, investigators alleged that Rick had knowingly acquired stolen historical items through intermediaries. These items included important documents and artifacts that had belonged to museums and private collections. The scope of the investigation grew even more concerning as court documents revealed that the probe had, in part, been initiated by a former employee who had worked closely with Rick in acquiring these valuable items. This whistleblower provided authorities with information about a secret bookkeeping system allegedly used to facilitate off-the-record transactions. Following the revelations, Rick was arrested but released on bond the next day, with a court appearance scheduled shortly after. He was facing multiple felony charges, including tax evasion, money laundering, dealing in stolen property, and conspiracy to traffic illegally obtained cultural artifacts. Rick's attorney, David Marshall, confirmed that his client vehemently denied all charges and was fully prepared to defend himself in court. Rick Harrison remained resolute in his determination to fight the charges in court, maintaining his innocence throughout the legal battle. The case, however, dragged on for nearly a year, and as it progressed, mounting evidence and testimony from former associates began to complicate his defense. Prosecutors presented a variety of evidence, including financial records, encrypted messages, and witness statements from ex-employees. Some of these witnesses claimed that Rick had instructed them to alter documentation for certain high-value items. Additionally, they introduced evidence suggesting that Rick had set up offshore accounts to conceal profits from especially lucrative transactions. One of the most damaging pieces of evidence was a series of text messages between Rick and an unidentified supplier. In these messages, they discussed ways to obscure the provenance of an 18th-century document believed to have been stolen from a university archive. In another exchange, Rick allegedly discussed structuring a sale to avoid triggering financial reporting requirements for large cash transactions. Despite the mounting legal pressure, Rick remained defiant in the public eye, appearing on conservative talk shows to argue that he was being unfairly targeted due to his political views and public success. His supporters rallied behind him, launching the Hash-Free Rick campaign and organizing protests outside the courthouse during his hearings. The situation took a dramatic turn when Rick was caught breaking the law, shocking many who had long viewed him as a straightforward businessman on Pawn Stars. His arrest report revealed a more calculating individual than many had assumed, exposing a side of his personality that had previously remained hidden. As the legal troubles continued to unfold, the revelations about Rick's conduct were unexpected and left many questioning the man they had once admired. While some quickly passed judgment based on the media reports, others called for compassion, understanding that everyone faces difficult times. Devoted fans formed support groups on social media, highlighting the educational value Rick had brought to them through Pawn Stars. One supporter wrote, "Rick made me love history in a way school never could. Now it's our turn to show him that we appreciate everything he's done." These fans encouraged others to join online communities in solidarity with Rick during this challenging period. When the verdict was announced, the courtroom fell silent. Rick, who had remained composed throughout the trial, turned pale. His son Corey, sitting behind him, buried his face in his hands, the gravity of the moment overwhelming him. Chumley, who had attended every day of the trial in support of his mentor, was seen hastily leaving the courtroom, visibly emotional. The sentence that was handed down stunned legal experts, many of whom believed it to be harsher than the crime.